Evan's eyes fluttered open to a world of soft blue light. At first, nothing made sense. The air smelled faintly sweet, and a gentle hum vibrated around him, like the quiet song of a living machine. He tried to move, but his body felt like it belonged to someone else, weak, stiff, and unfamiliar. Panic began to rise, but it was tempered by a quiet presence beside him. "You are awake," said a soft voice. It was calm, soothing, almost musical. Evan turned his head and saw her, an alien nurse with silver skin that shimmered faintly under the light. Her eyes were large and warm, almost human, but entirely not. She wore a uniform of flowing fabric, glowing slightly along the edges, and her hands hovered above his arm as if she were afraid to touch him too roughly. Where am I?" Evan croaked. His voice sounded strange, rusty after what felt like years of silence. "You are safe," the nurse said, smiling softly. "You are on our world. You were hurt very badly." Evan tried to remember, but the memories were hazy. A bright light, a sudden crash, alarms, a sense of falling, and then nothing. How long had it been? "You've been asleep for a long time," the nurse said, as if reading his mind. 20 years, 20 years. Evan froze. His mouth opened, but no words came out. 20 years he had been gone, lost, and somehow survived. The nurse's name was Lyra, and she explained that when his ship was found drifting near the border of their world, it was barely recognizable. It had burned in space, torn apart by meteors or some unknown force. The alien medical team had never seen a human survive such damage. Most believed it impossible, but not Lyra. She had argued tirelessly with the others, insisting they try to save him. At first, it had been a challenge just to stabilize his body. Machines had hummed endlessly as his organs were repaired, bones rebuilt, and blood restored. Every night, she monitored him, talking softly, reading stories, and keeping his mind active even as he slept. Evan's voice finally returned, shaky but clearer. Why would you do this? I'm a human. You don't even know me." Lyra's silver eyes softened. "We learned. Humans are different, strong, curious, and they are worth saving. Not because of duty, but because it felt right. You became more than a patient to us." Evan blinked, overwhelmed. His mind raced with questions, but he couldn't form them all. The chamber felt alive, almost welcoming, with machines that hummed like a lullaby and soft walls that glow with patterns that shifted like water. He noticed small figures moving silently along the corridors outside. Observing him without fear or hostility, Lyra helped him sit up slowly. "Take your time," she said. "You need to regain your strength. You will have questions. I will answer them." Evan looked down at his hands. They were pale, almost translucent under the soft light, and trembling. He flexed his fingers, trying to feel familiar sensations. His body was weak, but he was alive. Against all odds, he had survived 20 years in stasis, floating between worlds, under the care of beings he had never met. 20 years, he repeated softly, as if saying it aloud would make it more real. "All this time, I was asleep?" "Yes," Lyra said gently. "We watched over you every day. You have changed our world in ways you cannot imagine. Your survival gave hope, taught patience, and reminded us that life is precious even when it seems impossible." Evan tried to speak again, to ask questions about home, about Earth, about his crew, but he felt the exhaustion pressing down on him. His body had been asleep for 2 decades. Every muscle protested as he moved. Lyra noticed his struggle and guided him carefully. "We will not rush you," she said. "You need to see the world, to breathe, to feel again. You are ready, but we must go slowly." Outside the chamber, Evan finally saw the alien world. Floating platforms hovered over sparkling rivers of liquid light. Trees grew with branches that seemed to bend toward the sky, glowing faintly like the stars above. Strange creatures moved in harmony, wings shimmering, bodies flowing like silk through the air. The sky was not blue like Earth's, but a shifting mix of violet and gold, with drifting ribbons of energy that twisted gently, as if the air itself were alive. Evan's jaw dropped. The aliens had not only saved him, they had built a world of care around him. a world he could explore and learn from. You, he began, but words failed him again. Lyra smiled and placed her hand lightly on his. You will understand in time, she said. For now, let us walk slowly. You need strength, and you will need to see your world, the one we kept ready for you. As they walked, aliens of all shapes approached, greeting him warmly. Children waved, their faces full of curiosity. Workers paused in their tasks to nod respectfully. Evan felt a strange mix of awe and disbelief. He had imagined danger and hostility, perhaps even fear from them. Instead, he saw care, patience, and admiration. Lyra explained that over the years, their people had debated what to do with him. Some argued that humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous, and that he should be kept hidden. Others believed that he should be released immediately, returned to his own kind. But the medical team, led by Lyra, had decided differently. They chose to save him not because they expected reward, not because they feared reprisal, but because they believed that a human life was worth every effort. Evan wanted to speak, to thank them, but he realized that simple words could never capture the depth of what they had done. 20 years of care, of watching, of hope. They had kept him alive when nothing in the galaxy suggested he could survive. And they had done it for him, personally, as if he were more than a stranger. As the day passed, Evan's strength grew slowly. He learned to walk, to hold himself steady, and to breathe deeply under the alien sky. Lyra remained by his side, always near, gently guiding him, explaining how the world worked. Machines hummed softly in the background, and sometimes he caught glimpses of medical drones tending to minor wounds, or adjusting his body's healing processes. At night, he asked Lyra to tell him stories. She told him of her people, of their cities, of their struggles and victories. And then, almost as an aside, she told him, about how humans fascinated them, about how his survival became a symbol, a reason for hope. You are more than a patient, Lyra said one evening, her voice soft in the glowing chamber. You are a reminder that life can endure, that hope can survive even the impossible. Evan stared at the ceiling, letting the words sink in. He did not fully understand this alien world, but he felt its care, its patience, and its determination to keep him alive. And in that moment, he realized something important. He was not just alive. He was needed, even if he did not yet know why. He closed his eyes, letting the soft hums and the quiet energy of the world fill him. For the first time in 20 years, Evan felt a sense of peace. The road ahead would be long, and questions still crowded his mind, but he was alive. Against all odds, the aliens had saved him, and tomorrow, he would begin to learn why. The next morning, Evan woke to the soft glow of the alien sky. The colors were even more beautiful than he remembered from the day before, blending violet and gold with streaks of floating light that danced across the horizon. Lyra was waiting outside his chamber, her silver skin reflecting the gentle glow. Good morning, she said. Today, we will see more of the world. Evan nodded, still adjusting to the strength returning to his body. Every step felt strange, like learning to walk again. Yet the ground beneath him was solid and welcoming. Lyra guided him gently along floating pathways lined with plants that shimmered softly, their leaves shaped like ribbons of light. The air was filled with a quiet hum, a natural sound that seemed to come from the world itself. Everything here is alive, Lyra explained. Not in the same way as your Earth, but it responds. It listens. It heals. Evan looked around, fascinated. Small creatures flitted between the glowing trees, wings delicate and transparent, leaving trails of sparkling light behind them. Others moved on the ground, sleek and agile, watching him curiously. None seemed hostile. Even as he walked, he felt the world acknowledging him, embracing him in its unique way. You've changed our world, Lyra continued. When your ship was found, many doubted that a human could survive. But we chose to try, and that choice, it reminded us what courage and hope can do. Evan paused. But why me? Why save me when so many others might have needed help? Lyra's eyes softened. Because humans are special. Your survival became more than medicine. It became a symbol. Every day, we work to keep you alive, to study, to learn, to understand. You were not just a patient, you were a teacher without knowing it. Even in sleep, you taught us patience, resilience, and trust. Evan felt a mix of awe and guilt. He had been drifting through space, unconscious, unaware of the sacrifices made for him. I don't know what to say, he murmured. Say nothing, Lyra said. Just walk and observe. Learn what it means to live here. As they moved through the city, Evan noticed the people, the aliens, going about their day. They were varied in shape and size, yet all moved with harmony and respect. Children played in the streets, laughing with voices that sounded like music. Workers built structures using tools that floated alongside them, guided by invisible energy. The whole city seemed alive, aware of every movement, every thought, as if it were one large, breathing organism. Evan's eyes widened when he saw a group of young aliens practicing with glowing devices. They waved when they noticed him. Hello, human, one called, its voice melodic. Evan waved back hesitantly. It was strange to be greeted, not with fear, but with curiosity and warmth. People are cautious with strangers, Lyra said. But with you, curiosity outweighed caution. You are a bridge, Evan, the first living human many of them have ever known. Evan's mind raced. A bridge? He had not even spoken to another human in 20 years. And now he was expected to be a symbol for an entire world. He felt the weight pressing on him, but also a strange sense of pride. Somehow, despite the confusion, despite the fear, he felt needed. As they walked further, they approached a public learning hall. Inside, holographic displays floated above the floor, showing stars, planets, and complex patterns of energy. Lyra gestured for Evan to look. We study the universe constantly, she explained. We seek knowledge and understanding. Your species, it is unique. We want to learn more, but first, we needed to understand you. Evan touched one of the glowing panels carefully. It responded, shifting images as if it recognized his curiosity. So, you watched me all this time? He asked quietly. Yes, Lyra replied. Even while you slept. We monitored your health, of course. But more than that, we listened to your mind, your heart, your reactions to stories, to sounds. We wanted to understand what it means to be human. And now, having learned, we hope you will teach us more. Evan felt a warmth in his chest. He had never expected such care from being so different from him. And yet, they had not only saved his life, they had shared it, lived it with him. Even without knowing him personally, outside, the streets were filled with life. Some aliens stopped to smile at him, some bowed slightly. Lyra explained that these gestures were not only polite, they were signs of respect, of gratitude. For 20 years, Evan's survival had inspired their society to see beyond fear, beyond suspicion. A human had arrived helpless, and yet, in saving him, they discovered courage and compassion within themselves. You see, Lyra said softly, as they paused near a floating river of light, your presence reminded us that hope can endure, even against the impossible. That is why we fought so hard to keep you alive. That is why this world, this city, is ready for you now. Evan looked at her, amazed. 20 years of careful observation, of study, of devotion. He realized he was not just alive, he had been cherished. Every moment, every breath, had been guarded by beings who believed in him, believed in humans, believed in life itself. Will I be able to go home? Evan asked. Will I ever see Earth again? Lyra's expression softened, tinged with sadness. That is a question for the future. For now, you must understand this world. You must feel it, see it, live it. Only then will you know what path to take. Evan nodded slowly. He could feel his body regaining strength, and his mind was opening to the possibilities around him. The aliens had given him more than life, they had given him time, patience, and a chance to understand a world he could never have imagined. As the day passed, Evan began to notice small details that made the world feel alive. Plants that shifted toward him when he approached, creatures that paused and watched, machines that moved as if anticipating his needs. Every step, every glance, reinforced a feeling he could not describe fully. He was home. But not on Earth. In the evening, Lyra brought him to a quiet platform overlooking the city. Lights glimmered in patterns like flowing constellations, and the sky above seemed to pulse with energy. She gestured for him to sit beside her. "You are ready to hear more," she said softly, "but you must promise to keep an open mind. What you are about to learn may surprise you." Evan nodded. "I promise." Lyra's voice grew gentle, almost whispering now. "When your ship was found, many believed you could not survive. The government feared the consequences of your presence. They wanted to keep you hidden, to observe you quietly, without letting anyone know. But we, your medical team, refused. We argued, we risked our positions, and we worked tirelessly, knowing that life is worth the risk. We fought for you because we saw more than a patient. We saw a being worth saving, and so we kept you alive, even when hope seemed impossible." Evan felt a lump in his throat. 20 years. 20 years of care, study, protection, and hope. They had devoted decades of their lives to a stranger from another world him. And now he understood why the world around him seemed so vibrant, so welcoming. It had been built around him, not out of duty, but out of genuine care. He turned to Lyra. I don't know what to say. Thank you for everything. I can't imagine what it must have taken." Lyra smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the glowing sky. "No thanks are necessary. You are alive. That is enough. But you must understand one thing: your presence changed us. It changed our society. Your survival proves something important, that life, even fragile and unexpected, can endure. That hope can survive even in the face of impossibility." Evan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had been drifting, lost in space, unaware of time. Now, he realized he was not only alive, but part of something greater. His existence had inspired courage, patience, and unity in a world far beyond Earth. As night fell, the city lights shimmered below, and Evan felt a mixture of awe, gratitude, and responsibility. He had been given a second chance at life, not just to survive, but to understand and to connect. And as he watched the gentle glow of the alien world, he knew that the journey ahead would be as much about discovery as survival. Tomorrow, he would learn more about why they had risked everything for him, and why the alien world, so vibrant and alive, now seemed inseparable from his own fate. For the first time, Evan realized he was not just a survivor. He was a bridge between worlds, and the care they had given him for 20 years was a gift he could never repay. Evan had been awake for a few days now, exploring the alien city and learning its ways. Every corner of this world was alive. Every creature and structure seemed to respond to his presence. And yet, a quiet tension lingered beneath the surface, like a soft hum that was almost inaudible but impossible to ignore. One evening, as the golden light of the alien sky softened into violet shadows, Lyra led Evan to a private chamber. The walls glowed faintly, and the air vibrated with a gentle hum. She motioned for him to sit. "Today," she began softly, "I will tell you the truth." Evan frowned. "The truth? About what?" Lyra hesitated, then took a deep breath. "About why we fought so hard to keep you alive, and why some still fear your presence." Evan's heart beat faster. "Fear my presence? But you all saved me. You watched over me for 20 years. "Yes," Lyra said, her voice steady, but her eyes troubled. "We saved you because we believed in life. We saved you because we believed in humans. But not everyone here agreed with us. Some believed a human could be dangerous, unpredictable. They thought you should never wake. They wanted you hidden, observed quietly, so no one else would know. They feared the consequences of your survival." Evan stared at her, disbelief mixing with confusion. "They wanted to keep me asleep. Forever." Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, for some, you were a risk, a reminder of a species they didn't fully trust. But for the medical team, for me, you were not a risk. You were life worth saving. We argued, we resisted, we risked our careers, our reputations, even our freedom, just to keep you alive. 20 years. We fought for you, human." Evan swallowed hard. He had never felt such a mix of gratitude and sorrow. 20 years of devotion, and he had been unaware. "All this, for me?" he whispered. "All this," Lyra confirmed. Because you are more than a patient. You became a symbol of hope, a reminder of what courage and patience can accomplish. While you slept, we watched you, cared for you, and learned from you. You taught us more than you know about resilience, about life, and about the value of every moment. Evan's mind spun. He remembered faint glimpses of the past days, the gentle way Lyra had guided him, the warmth of the city, the kindness of the aliens. He understood now it was not just survival they had offered him. It was connection, trust, and faith in the impossible. But why tell me now? He asked. Why not tell me sooner? Because you were not ready, Lyra said. Your mind and body needed time. You needed to regain strength, to learn our world, to understand our ways. And we needed to ensure your safety. Some still do not trust what we have done. Some still question your presence here. The truth, if revealed too soon, could have endangered you. Evan looked down at his hands. Trembling slightly, he felt the weight of 20 years pressing upon him not as a burden, but as a responsibility. The aliens had fought for him, and now he had to face the consequences of their courage. Evan. Lyra continued, her voice softer now, almost a whisper. We risked everything for you. And now, you must understand your survival is not just about life. It is about trust, about hope, about showing that humans, even far away from home, can inspire change. You are part of something greater than yourself, and some fear what that means. Evan tried to speak, but his throat was dry. I don't know what to say. Say nothing, Lyra said, gently placing her hand on his arm. Feel, understand, learn. You will have to make choices soon. Decisions that may affect not just your life, but the future of both our worlds. But for now, rest, observe, and know that you are safe with us over the next few days. Evan began to understand the tension in the city. Groups of leaders met quietly, speaking in low tones. They glanced in his direction but never approached. Lyra explained that debates raged over what should be done with him once he was fully recovered. Some argued that he should be returned to Earth immediately. Others warned that allowing him to leave could lead to conflict. But the medical team, led by Lyra, had stood firm. They believed that humans deserved trust and understanding. They believed that Evan's life was proof that cooperation, care, and courage could overcome fear. Evan realized he was caught between worlds, between those who wanted to protect him and those who feared him. He felt the weight of their care, but also the pressure of responsibility. He was not just a survivor. He was a bridge, a connection between humanity and an alien civilization that had fought for him for decades. One afternoon, while walking through a serene garden of glowing plants, Evan asked Lyra, "Did you ever doubt me? Did you ever wonder if saving me was a mistake?" Lyra shook her head firmly. "Never, even when it seemed impossible, even when hope was dim. I knew humans were strong. I knew you could survive. And more than that, I knew life, any life, is worth the effort. You taught us that lesson simply by existing." Evan felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. He had been saved, watched over, studied, and cared for. He had become a symbol without asking for it, and now he understood the true depth of their devotion. That evening, Lyra took him to a quiet observation tower overlooking the city. Lights shimmered below, moving like living constellations. "This city," she said softly, "was ready for you when you awoke. Every light, every pathway, every gesture of kindness, you may not have realized it, but it was all built around hope. Hope that you would survive. Hope that life can endure even when the odds are against it." Evan stared at the lights, overwhelmed by the enormity of their care. For 20 years, they had built not only machines and treatments, but a society prepared to welcome him, to show him that his existence mattered. "I don't know how to repay you," he whispered. "Do not repay us," Lyra said, her voice gentle but firm. "Your life is enough. Your understanding, your presence, your curiosity, these are the gifts. And one day, you may choose to carry them beyond this world. That will be your repayment, if you wish to give one." Evan sat quietly, letting the hum of the city and the gentle light of the sky wash over him. He felt a strange combination of awe and fear. He had been kept alive for decades, watched over by beings who risked everything for him. And now he was awake, fully aware, and facing a world that both needed him and feared him. As night fell, Lyra spoke again, softly, almost as if sharing a secret. There will come a time, Evan, when you must decide. You may return to Earth, you may stay here. But whatever you choose, know this, you are not alone. We have fought for you. We have kept you alive. And we will continue to do so, even if the world around us doubts or fears. You are part of us now, and we are part of you. Evan understood then that his journey was only beginning. He had survived against impossible odds, and the aliens had devoted to decades to his care. Their hope, their courage, and their belief in life had created a bond that could not be broken. And now, with the truth revealed, Evan knew he had to choose not only for himself, but for the world that had risked everything to keep him alive for the first time. He felt the weight of responsibility, not as a burden, but as a privilege. He had been given a gift greater than life itself, the gift of trust, hope, and unwavering care. And in the quiet glow of the alien city, Evan vowed to honor it, whatever the future might hold. Evan had spent several days absorbing the truth. The alien world had kept him alive for 20 years, not out of duty or fear, but out of care, respect, and hope. He understood the sacrifices Lyra and the medical team had made for him, the courage it had taken to defy those who feared a human's presence, and the unwavering patience they had shown. Every step he took through the city felt heavier with responsibility, yet lighter with the knowledge that he was part of something greater. Still, questions burned in his mind. Could he return to Earth? Should he? Could he leave the people who had risked everything for him? And what would happen if he did? One morning, Lyra led him to a special platform hovering above the city. From here, the entire landscape stretched out, rivers of glowing light, floating gardens, and buildings that shimmered like liquid crystal. The sight was breathtaking. This is where we bring humans who awaken fully, Lyra explained. Here, you will decide what to do next. You may leave for your world, or you may stay here, but you must choose carefully. Once you leave, everything changes for you and for us. Evan gazed at the horizon, the weight of 20 years pressing on his shoulders. He felt gratitude, awe, and fear all at once. He had been given life, care, and trust beyond imagination. The thought of leaving this world, of leaving Lyra and those who had watched over him, made his heart ache. Lyra stood beside him, her silver eyes reflecting the glowing sky. Evan, she said softly, I will not force you to stay. You are free to decide. But know this, we have kept you alive for 20 years. We have fought for you, for your life, for the hope that your presence could inspire. We believe in you, and if you leave, we will fear losing you, even if it is only for a time. Evan turned to her, searching for words. His mind was a storm of thoughts, yet his heart understood what words could not express. I don't want to leave you, he said quietly. You saved me. You risked everything for me. How could I walk away after all that? Lyra's eyes softened, a faint shimmer of tears reflecting the light. We never asked you to repay us, Evan. Your life is the gift. But your choice, it matters. We are afraid of losing you, yes, but we also know that your journey may take you elsewhere. That is part of life. Human. Evan looked out over the city, the glowing pathways, and the gentle creatures moving in harmony. This world had grown around him, nurtured by hope, and filled with beings who had cared for him as no human ever could. For 20 years, they had waited for him to awaken, ready to welcome him into life fully. To leave now felt like abandoning a part of himself that had grown strong under their care. He turned back to Lyra. I will not leave you, not like this, but I must return home, if only to show that humans can be trusted, that life can endure, and that the care you gave me is not wasted. Lyra nodded, though her expression was tense. We understand, Evan, but we fear what you do not see. Leaving may be necessary, but it carries risk, and yet your presence must be shared. That is why we saved you. That is why you were kept alive. Evan felt a surge of determination. He realized that his survival was not only for himself, but for two worlds, one that had nurtured him and one that had almost forgotten him. His life was a bridge, and the responsibility was immense. Yet he knew that he could not remain hidden forever. "Then I will go," he said firmly. "But I will carry your trust with me. I will return, Lyra. I promise you. And when I do, it will not be as a visitor. It will be as someone who honors what you have given me." Lyra's hands trembled slightly as she reached for his. "Evan, we kept you alive for 20 years, human. Please don't leave us now." Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, filled with fear, hope, and longing. Evan's heart ached at her words. He understood fully what they meant. These beings, strangers from another world, had devoted decades of their lives to him. They had fought, argued, and risked everything so that he might live. And now, in the moment of his choice, they felt the same vulnerability any human might feel when facing loss. "I will return," he said firmly, squeezing her hand gently. "I will carry your hope with me, and I will come back to you. That is my promise." For a long moment, they simply stood there, hands joined. As the alien city shimmered below them, Evan felt the gravity of 20 years of care, the weight of trust, and the depth of the bond that had grown between him and Lyra. He realized that leaving would not be abandonment, it would be the next step in a journey. That both worlds needed him to take the next day. Preparations began. The aliens built a small ship for him, designed to travel safely to Earth. Lyra and a few members of the medical team accompanied him to the launch platform. They moved silently, their faces a mixture of pride, sadness, and hope. As he stepped into the ship, Evan turned to Lyra. "I will see you again," he promised. "Soon." Lyra's silver eyes glistened. "We will wait," she whispered. "We have waited 20 years. We will wait as long as it takes. But do not forget, you are part of us now, and we are part of you." The engines hummed softly as the ship lifted from the platform. Evan gazed out at the city below, the glowing rivers, floating gardens, and luminous pathways. For 20 years, this world had been ready for him, and now it watched him go, holding hope and trust in every light, every shadow, every movement. As the ship soared into the sky, Evan felt a mix of excitement, fear, and determination. He was returning to Earth, carrying the story of survival, trust, and hope. He carried with him the knowledge that life could endure against impossible odds, and that beings from another world had devoted decades to protect him. He thought of Lyra and the medical team who had never given up, who had believed in him when others did not, who had fought for hope when fear seemed stronger. Their courage had shaped his life, and he vowed silently to honor it. Days later, as he approached Earth, Evan looked back at the stars and the distant glow of the alien world. He could see faint lights pulsing, like the heartbeat of the city itself. He smiled, feeling the bond that connected him to that world. Though he was returning to humanity, a part of him would always remain there, in the place that had kept him alive, nurtured him, and trusted him beyond measure. Upon landing, Earth welcomed him with chaos, questions, and wonder. But Evan carried the calm, the hope, and the lessons of the alien world in his heart. He knew that his survival was not only proof of human endurance, but also a bridge between worlds. He would tell the story, show humanity the value of life, and honor the trust that had been given to him. And somewhere far away, Lyra watched the faint signal of his ship's departure, her heart steady with faith. She knew that the human would return, stronger, wiser, and carrying the hope they had nurtured for 20 years. In that moment, two worlds, alien and human, were connected, not by force, but by care, trust, and the enduring strength of life itself. Evan had been kept alive for 20 years, and now, in the fullness of time, he carried that life forward, a living reminder that hope could survive, and that the bond between worlds was unbreakable. As the ship disappeared into the night sky, Lyra whispered again, not to him, but to the world, "Stay safe, human, and come back soon. We will be waiting."